1910.1020, Appendix B. Availability of NIOSH Registry of Toxic Effects of Chemical Substances, TECS, non-mandatory. The final regulation, 29 CFR 1910.20, applies to all employee exposure in medical records and analyses thereof of employees exposed to toxic substances or harmful physical agents, paragraph B2. The term toxic substance or harmful physical agent is defined by paragraph C13 to encompass chemical substances, biological agents, and physical stresses for which there is evidence of harmful health effects. The regulation uses the latest printed edition of the National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health, NIOSH, Registry of Toxic Effects of Chemical Substances, TECS, as one of the chief sources of information as to whether evidence of harmful health effects exists. If a substance is listed in the latest printed TECS, the regulation applies to exposure in medical records and analyses of these records relevant to employees exposed to the substance. It is appropriate to note that the final regulation does not require that employers purchase a copy of TECS, and many employers need not consult TECS to ascertain whether their employee exposure or medical records are subject to the rule. Employers who do not currently have the latest printed edition of the NIOSH TECS, however, may desire to obtain a copy. The TECS is issued in an annual printed edition as mandated by Section 20(a)(6) of the Occupational Safety and Health Act, 29 U.S.C. 669(a)(6). The introduction to the 1980 printed edition describes the TECS as follows. The 1980 edition of the Registry of Toxic Effects of Chemical Substances, formerly known as the Toxic Substances List, is the 9th revision prepared in compliance with the requirements of Section 20(a)(6) of the Occupational Safety and Health Act of 1970, Public Law 91-596. The original list was completed on June 28, 1971, and has been updated annually in book format. Beginning in October 1977, quarterly revisions have been provided in microfiche. This edition of the registry contains 168,096 listings of chemical substances, 45,156 are names of different chemicals with their associated toxicity data, and 122,940 are synonyms. This edition includes approximately 5,900 new chemical compounds that did not appear in the 1979 registry. p. 11. The registry's purposes are many, and it serves a variety of users. It is a single-source document for basic toxicity information and for other data, such as chemical identifiers, add information necessary for the preparation of safety directives and hazard evaluations for chemical substances. The various types of toxic effects linked to literature citations provide researchers and occupational health scientists with an introduction to the toxicological literature, making their own review of the toxic hazards of a given substance easier. By presenting data on the lowest reported doses that produce effects by several routes of entry in various species, the registry furnishes valuable information to those responsible for preparing safety data sheets for chemical substances in the workplace. Chemical and production engineers can use the registry to identify the hazards which may be associated with chemical intermediates in the development of final products, and thus can more readily select substitutes or alternative processes which may be less hazardous. Some organizations, including health agencies and chemical companies, have included the NIOSH registry accession numbers with the listing of chemicals in their files to reference toxicity information associated with those chemicals. By including foreign language chemical names, a start has been made toward providing rapid identification of substances produced in other countries. In this edition of the registry, the editors intend to identify all known toxic substances which may exist in the environment and to provide pertinent data on the toxic effects from known doses entering an organism by any route described. It must be re-emphasized that the entry of a substance in the registry does not automatically mean that it must be avoided. A listing does mean, however, that the substance has the documented potential of being harmful if misused, and care must be exercised to prevent tragic consequences. Thus, the registry lists many substances that are common in everyday life and are in nearly every household in the United States. One can name a variety of such dangerous substances: prescription and non-prescription drugs, food additives, pesticide concentrates, sprays and dusts, fungicides, herbicides, paints, glazes, dyes, bleaches and other household cleaning agents, alkalis, and various solvents and diluents. The list is extensive because chemicals have become an integral part of our existence. The text printed edition may be purchased from the Superintendent of Documents, U.S. Government Printing Office, GPO, Washington, D.C. 20402, 202-783-3238. Some employers may desire to subscribe to the quarterly update to the text, which is published in a microfiche edition. An annual subscription to the quarterly microfiche may be purchased from the GPO. Order the microfiche edition, Registry of Toxic Effects of Chemical Substances. Both the printed edition and the microfiche edition of RTEX are available for review at many university and public libraries throughout the country. The latest RTEX editions may also be examined at the OSHA Technical Data Center, Room N2439 Rear, United States Department of Labor, 200 Constitution Avenue, NW, Washington, D.C. 20210, 202-523-9700. Or at any OSHA regional or area office. See Major City Telephone Directories under United States Government Labor Department.